Okay, I'm going to go through a real quick overview of the competitions that we have available through ASABE. And then following that, there will be 4 of the competition chairs that are going to share some of their details of how their virtual competition will work this year. So first off, we have the Gunlock's Environmental Design Student Competition, which we have split into 2 separate groups. So there's an open format, and then there's also Fountain Wars. So for those of you students, you'll need to register to participate in the open format competition by May 15th. And then for Fountain Wars, there's an April 15th intent deadline, and then team information due by May 15th. We also have the Boyd Scott Graduate Research Award, the application for which is due March 15th. We have the KK Barnes Student Paper Competition, which is due May 15th. The AGCO National Student Design Competition is also due May 15th. Quarter scale registration is due May 17th. The Robotics Student Competition registration is due May 1st. Engineering Ethics Competition, the registration and paper is due April 15th. And then the Student Poster Competition, at this time, we are past that deadline. So that's the quick rundown on the competitions through ASABE that are available for the Gunlock's Environmental Design Student Competition. So Gail or Sushant?
Sushant, how about you go first?
Sure. So the Gunlock's Environmental Design Student Competition is basically based on the biological and agriculture engineering design. So it is in 2 different stages. So by May 15, the team has to submit their report. There is strict rules how to design the report. And the top 3 teams from the report scores would be presenting their final presentation on during ASABE AIM, and the teams would be awarded. The first would be $1,250, and the second and third would be $1,000 and $750 respectively. So this is about open format Gunlock's Environmental Design Student Competition. Gail, if I've left something, please do add.
Nope, just that the oral portion will be presented, virtually. Submit your videos, right? Pre-recorded. That's how they did it last year.
I think it was live.
Oh, they did do it live.
Yeah, so we decided that in case the live had some issues, then we will see the recorded ones. So we had the option of both.
Okay. Sounds good. And then Fountain Wars, we are doing that virtually this year. It's going to look different than it has in the past, and obviously we didn't do it last year because of just the sudden nature of us going virtual. But this year, you do have to submit your intent, so that way we can start coordinating how this virtual competition is going to look. There are certain things that go along with your fountain that won't be included in your size requirements, because that was stuff that I was going to provide you at the competition. So those things won't go towards your size requirements, but you will need to submit somebody who's going to be your proxy or your judge, your on-site judge. And that can be a professor or an advisor, somebody that's going to watch you when your fountain does perform. And then that will be videotaped and submitted for us to show during the virtual meeting. And then kind of like the open competition, we are planning that you'll submit your report and we'll judge your report. And then you will give your, your oral presentation live during AIM. But then we will also have it pre-recorded just in case we have issues. So that's kind of an overview of how the virtual Fountain Wars is going to work. That will mean that you'll have to have your fountain up and going and operational before you submit, and we'll have to talk about a deadline for when we submit videos of the fountain working. I don't think I have that exactly set in the rules because we were gonna just kind of be flexible with that. So like I said, that's a big part of you guys submitting your intent to compete, so we can work out some of those details. So that's kind of an overview on the Fountain Wars competition going virtual this year. And it is the exact same tasks as it was for last year. So if you had to start on your fountain last year, it would be easy for you to pivot to this year.
Thank you, Gail and Sushant. Doug, I believe you have the KK Barnes competition.
Yes, so the KK Barnes student paper competition is basically divided into two parts, where the written paper is due by May 15th. And then the scoring rubric for that will determine the top 3 winners from the written portion. And then those top 3 will be invited to AIM to do the oral portion. And overall, in the total competition, the written part is 80% of the score, and the remaining 20% is the oral presentation. But still, there's quite a lot of value in the oral piece. So what we'll do is the same thing as we did last year with the oral, that we will request a pre-recorded video of the oral presentation that will be used as a backup in case there are technical challenges at the time of when the student is set to do the oral presentation. But if possible, they'll be asked to do it live. So that worked well for us last year. Matter of fact, no one had to use the pre-recorded session then. We were able to do all 3 of them live, but we still believe that's the best way to ensure that we're able to complete the competition, because we have judges, that are only available at that given time and that sort of thing. So that's the plan. We should be able to do basically the same thing we did last year. As far as the paper is concerned, there's really no change to the normal process, except that the deadline for submission is a bit later than normal. Usually we're in April. So anyway, please encourage everyone to submit papers. We enjoy reading a lot of well-written and interesting topic papers, so we encourage the participation.
Thank you, Doug. Brady, with the AGCO competition.
So exactly what Doug described for KK Barnes is almost exactly what we're doing with AGCO. So the format of the competition is not significantly different than what it has been in years past. We had a pretty relatively easy transition to virtual. So similarly to KK Barnes, the teams submit a written report, and that deadline is May 15th. And that's what is used to select the top 3. So the top 3 teams in the historical world would get invited to go to the AIM. So in the virtual world, those top 3 teams are invited to go to the AIM session and present virtually there for the judges and for anyone else who is interested in seeing the competition. So not a whole lot different. And as the teams are selected based on their written submissions, that will determine exactly how the virtual section will lay out.
Thanks, Brady. And Roger with robotics.
Yeah, robotics this year will be very similar to what we did last year, being in a virtual format. We do have a new challenge this year, and that's been shared already. Of the challenge this year, and again, every year we try to simulate an agricultural production issue or practice in the state where the convention would be held. And since we would have been in California, this year we're going to focus on strawberries. So the challenge that has been put forth is to develop a bot that will remove unhealthy leaves and flowers of strawberry plants, both in a simulated plant and also we were planting some real plants. So those rules have been released. This year, since we cannot be present to do it live, we'll pretty much do what we did last year. And that is, we have 2 options for the teams. One would be an electronic presentation of their bot. It could be a video of the bot they've designed and running in a simulated mode that they could show. It could be a CAD drawing. It could be some animations. Depending on the stage they are, we realize that the pandemic may have made it hard for the teams to work in a face-to-face setting. So we're being as flexible as possible. But again, it's an electronic presentation. It can be a video, it can be a narrated PowerPoint. It's really up to the team to use the tools they want to use to develop this electronic presentation of their bot or the bot that they planned to have it. And that's a maximum of 10 minutes on the video. The second option, if they do not wish to pursue a video type production, would be a written report. And that would be focusing on two pieces. One would be the technical aspects, more the engineering aspects. So a little bit on the need for the benefits for the bot, the originality of their bot, how they designed it, what they envisioned to be, the layout. It could be some more CAD drawings, et cetera, in the report. A list of the parts, the hardware, the software, et cetera. So more the technical side. Then the other part of the written report would be on the quality and composition of that report. So more of the grammar, the layout, the design of the written report. So those are the two options. Teams can do both if they want to. And we plan to give awards for the best video, the best written, and then the best combined. And so again, very similar to what we did last year. So if teams were involved last year, they'll see the same type of things. And then we do have a May 1, more of an intent type thing, but then we'll be getting more details out where they can submit the video or the written report probably the latter part of June, so we have time to judge those prior to the virtual event there in about the middle of July. And just a little tidbit as I was kind of lead in, I know we're way off, but when we get back face to face in 2022, we were looking at cotton production since we're going to be in Texas.
Nice.
Thanks, Roger. And with that, for any of the student competitions that you are participating in, but that weren't mentioned, I'd ask that you reach out to your competition chair. And if you need their information, just let us know. But thank you for everybody who is able to attend, and shout out to the competition chairs for bringing some discussion and making this event possible.